What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a Friday edition of Sports Talk 49 live on BucsReport.com every Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. Monday doing post-game, Friday doing pregame to Week 17 versus the Atlanta Falcons. Today, we'll have a special guest, Ron Butler of Agency One Sports Group, my brother from another mother, Levante David's agent since day one. Make sure to hear from him, hear what he's got going on, and you never know. Ron's always full of surprises. That's why it's my guy right there. We'll also get into talking about Becky Hammon, the Spurs, the winning angle, of course, playoff seeding, my perspective with Keyshawn Vaughn. Has Brady met your expectations? And always your favorite, Madden 21 prediction. All that's here available 24/7. Well, not 24/7. Every Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. here at Bucs Report Sports Top 49. I'm Blake Anthony, and this show couldn't be powered no other than with 320 Solar. Go to 320solar.com. So we'll go to our quick commercial break, get to our sponsor. So you sit back, relax, get yourself something to drink, and enjoy the show.
Power bill through the roof? At 320 Solar, that power bill will be no more. In fact, about 90% of our customers report lower solar payments than with electricity. That's more power in your pocket. 320 Solar. Power up. Going solar with 320 may cost you nothing down. But the work we do is not a $0 job. With a 10-year roof penetration warranty and solar panels guaranteed for 25 years, you can have peace of mind knowing we will do the job right every time without question. Solar. Power up.
And we're back. Welcome back to Sports Top 49's Friday edition right here on BucsReport.com. Happy New Year's, everyone. I hope this New Year's will be better than the last, even though you're still dealing with COVID-19, which is out there and it's real. And I hope everything went well last night where you and your families and your loved ones and everybody had a great time. What's going on, Misador? Deshaun, what's going on? We'll see you on here a little later, Deshaun. I'll get you that link here. So let's get into it. Bruce Arians spoke today, talking about injuries and everything. So I'll start off with him, and then we'll kind of roll into it with my winning angle and all that other stuff, because it all ties into the same. But first and foremost, I got to give a shout out to Becky Hammon. Breaking barriers again. You know, I love doing that here on Sports Talk 49. Let's talk about breaking barriers and equality among everybody. And she was the first female coach to coach in the NBA. That's what's up, Miss Becky Hammon. I made sure to go to her page and give her a personal shout out. Whether she answers it or not, that's fine. I just want to say I think it's awesome that she got that experience and that opportunity. If you don't know what she is, this is who she is.
From the game.
Becky will take over.
Yeah, Becky Hammon's going to take over. There's Becky Hammon will be the head coach from here out. 3:56 remaining, second quarter.
It's Becky Hammon right there, everybody. Breaking barriers. Of course, I thought that was awesome. What's the point of bringing CJ Process in for a workout? Possibly because of Ronald Jones and pass catching ability. I mean, there's obviously some inefficiency there, Misador, that they're trying to fix, and they don't want it to become an issue winning the game, because in the game it's too late. Make sure to stay tuned. We'll get Ron Butler from Agency One Sports Group, Levante David's agent, and we'll get on here and talk Pro Bowl snubs and things like that, and what the teams got going on and stuff like that. So make sure to not miss that coming up soon. And as that, let's go straight into Bruce Arians.
Yeah, if we're going to totally anticipate him being back, hopefully tomorrow.
Okay.
But if not Sunday for sure, we think. So if not, then Casey would call it, and he's done it before, so he's more than ready.
How, if at all, disruptive has this been? I guess he's been, part of some virtual meetings, and this is an opponent you played 2 weeks ago. So has there been much disruption?
No, not really. It's practices run smooth. He's handled everything game plan wise with the guys, and watching the film and things like that. So it hasn't been as big a deal as I thought it might be. Well, we missed 2 blitzes on third down that we've picked up all season. It was more technical error, technique than it was assignment. And, we fixed that in the second quarter and didn't really have any problem with it again. But they have a great blitz package. And when they bring it, they bring a lot of speed. Deion Jones, when he's coming, that's a really fast blitzer. So they've got really good pass rushers, and but we did not handle the blitz very well on a couple of third downs. Oh, totally exceeded. With having such a limited practice, we went to New Orleans still learning words, and when a quarterback calls a play, he should have a picture in his head, and I don't think that happened till November. Just continuing to learn what words meant and what concepts meant, and then adjusting concepts as we went along. We might have a guy might have a 3 or 4 way go on a route. We limited it to 2, things like that, as we just kept evolving. And I think right now when he calls a play, the picture's in his head, and he's really, really playing well. But he's exceeded it. His leadership is beyond anything I've ever seen. Peyton Manning's the only thing close. No, I didn't even get him going. It's a totally different speed than practice. He's looked great in practice. He's catching the ball really okay with that thing on his hand, kind of like Chris did. And it was a struggle at first, but he's getting better at it. But no, we need his explosiveness out there, and hopefully we'll get him a ton this week. It's totally different than Chris's. He cannot extend his fingers, so his fingers are rolled up in the cast. So he's basically got 3 fingers on his left hand, and where Chris could use basically the other 2 sticking out. So it was a struggle at first, but he's getting used to it, and he's primarily a right-handed ball toter, so that's not a big thing as far as running the ball. No, he could handle it. He's in great shape, and he really didn't have any trouble with the cardiac workup after the COVID tests, and so he's in good shape and ready to roll.
Great to hear.
Well, yeah, we if still a game time decision on who's going to be active, but Scotty Miller can return punts. Antonio can return punts. Keyshawn Vaughn and Tyler Johnson can return kicks. So we're in good shape as far as that goes. And if Jaden is up, he'll do it.
There you go. Talking about Ronald Jones, you spoke about the hand situation. So it's different than Chris Godwin's. The cast is different and everything. And before I get into that, if you're just tuning in, it's Sports Talk49 live on BucsReport.com. I'm Blake Anthony. This is my show every Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. The show is powered by 320 Soda. Go to 320soda.com. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So if he can't really carry the ball in his left hand, so what that tells me is that most of his runs are going to have to go to the right. And if he goes to the left, he's going to have to really protect the ball, because as a defender, a former defender, and myself, if I see the ball in his right hand and he's running to the left side, I'm going to be grabbing and punching that ball out, and I'll be yanking and trying to mess his hand up and get him uncomfortable to not carry the ball as he would want to. And that's going to make Ronald Jones think a little bit too, because he doesn't have the confidence in his hand. Because please believe these Atlanta Falcons defenders know about his hand. They know what's going on with his hand situation, and they're going to be trying to pry and poke that ball as much as they could. Now, Ronald Jones has already had issues with catching his passes out the backfield to begin with, so I really don't expect him to throw passes out. So again, that shows limitations in the play calling when he's in, because if he's not confident in catching passes and then securing the pass and not fumbling once he catches, it's going to be interesting. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with this Ronald Jones situation. Personally, I know they brought in C.J. Prosise, and you still got Leonard Fournette, Shady McCoy, and Keyshawn Vaughn. You have enough right there. Keyshawn Vaughn is a dual back. Maybe you lean on him this week and see what he's got. Lean on Leonard Fournette and all them and not chance Ronald Jones. I know people want to see the 100 yards of rushing, but is it really worth risking a turnover out of him or hurting himself further? Not sure. I'll let Bruce Arians decide that decision. So I'm sure he knows what he's doing. Can he still break runs? What's the deal about Mickens? Evidently, he's been activated. I know they talked about Barner going down. So if you heard Keyshawn Vaughn and Scotty Miller can return kicks, and they got Antonio Brown and I can't remember who the person he mentioned that could return punts. So they have options there. The Buccaneers haven't really had a big day kick returning as far as all season. It's been pretty much status quo, been the same, but nothing has really changed. And speaking about Arians and everything else, I'll just go straight to my winning angle, and we'll talk about that. And then Ron should be joining us soon, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk to him and talk about his perspective on what the game and Levante David and all that good stuff and Pro Bowls and stuff like that. So looking forward to that. So check this week's The Winning Angle up. It's on my social media feed, Blake Anthony 49. Check it out, and stay tuned and enjoy. Everybody, welcome back to another edition of The Winning Angle with your host from Sports Talk 49, Blake Anthony. Today we're going to talk about the Buccaneers' upcoming matchup, some key things to look at, and what they should do to win. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Let's get into the to-do list on The Winning Angle. Buccaneers on offense. Keep the defense guessing. Run on passing downs. Pass on running downs. Mix between the two on different occasions. Keep them guessing. 100 yards of rushing. Got to get it done. Help Evans make history. Get those 40-plus yards and help Mike Evans make NFL history. On defense, no chunk yardage. They couldn't do it last time 2 weeks ago against the Falcons. Let's see if they can get it done today. Force a turnover. Fumble recovery, strip, sack, interception. They need at least one. Set the tone early. Don't give up a lot of yardage. Set the tone. Let them know that you're here to put them away early and get this game over with and roll on to the playoffs injury-free. X factors, Buccaneers on defense. Jamil Dean, Mike Evans. Falcons, Calvin Ridley, Keanu Neal. We've meet again, Atlanta. They run this play several times, this route several times against the Chiefs, a 7 route, kind of trying to get outside the numbers to the sideline, away from the safety and behind the corner. Here they got a tight end with trips, and they run Calvin Ridley to the sideline. Matt Ryan stares it down and is sacked because the route isn't there fast enough. Here are the Falcons again. Different formation this time, I formation. Chiefs are playing press, going to bring a safety down in the box. But it's the same scheme. Try to get Ridley up the numbers and then back out the numbers with a 7. Chiefs cover it perfectly. Matt Ryan is staring this down the entire way. He can't get there. Defender is in great position. He's in inside position because he knows he has outside help. Matt Ryan has to hold the ball and take a sack. Here the Falcons are here with the Twins bunch. Going to try to do a rub this time. Chiefs play this perfectly. They know where their help is, and they play the wide receiver as is. DB runs up. Corners don't run into each other. Great communication. Look where the position he is. He's on the outside, knowing he has inside help. Safety chucks the wide receiver, helping the DB so he doesn't get back to the other side from him, and it's just an incomplete pass. Great coverage. Here's another look at it from Matt Ryan's angle. He's looking at it as soon as he comes out of the snap. He's staring in that direction, knowing where he wants to go to the ball. Safeties are able to read his eyes and take it away immediately. Don't allow him inside. Matt Ryan goes to the outside. It's not there. Chiefs play it perfectly. If you guys know me, I'm the master of the tape. I pay attention to detail, and I know Todd Bowles does as well. Look who they are in the field. Look what the formation they run and the scheme for the play they run. Here they are, that short 4th down that the Bucs won on defense 2 weeks ago against Atlanta. 2 drag routes, one over and one short. Wide receiver on the outside clears out. You throw it to Calvin Ridley underneath, and he makes the catch, but he's unable to get to the 1st down marker. Sean Murphy-Bunting had a tough game this game, but look forward to him to bounce back this time, some redemption. Here it is from the other angle, Matt Ryan's angle. Drops back, quick drag, there's some pressure, force the ball, there's a catch, but the tackle and it's short and it's turnover on downs. Buccaneers win this game. Now I bring this up for a reason, because some teams just don't change. Play callers got to mix it up. And as I always say, if I see it, I know they can see it. Look where they are on the field. Does this look familiar? Just a different. They ran play action out of it. Same scheme. Run the receiver up the seam, run the guy across, it's a catch, and they get a big yards out of it. Look forward to Bucs to stuff that. Thanks for watching and enjoy the game. There's my week 17, the winning angle. And I'm Blake Anthony. This is Sports Talk 49 live on BucsReport.com every Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. The show is also powered by none other than 320 Solar. Go to 320solar.com and pay nothing out of pocket till 2022. There it is, the winning angle. Atlanta went to the well way too much against the Chiefs. The Chiefs made great adjustments to that, took that away, and they were able to come away with a victory against Atlanta. Atlanta tried that a lot with the Buccaneers. Not so much in the 2 week ago matchup, but it seems they're trying to go to that more often in the absence of Julio Jones. As Julio Jones has run that route for quite some time, and he uses his body and size to pretty much out-jump defenders and make those clutch grabs and catches on those sidelines. So Calvin Ridley and Gage aren't the same kind of player that Julio Jones is. And Hayden Hurst isn't quite exactly the tight end Tony Gonzalez was, or Austin Hooper. Is a little different. So they got a little bit different personnel since they had success many years ago running those plays and things like that. So it's going to be interesting. I know Todd Bowles is going to have something dialed up for that. Maybe have that corner sit on the backside, bait the quarterback into that throw, and then run under that from the outside for an interception. But really, really likes those routes from the inside slot position, the deep over route across the middle field to get right behind the linebackers while Matt Ryan manipulates the linebackers to get them out of position and throw right there. And also throwing outside the numbers to those 7 or those corner routes and trying to get to the wide receivers in space, using these wide receivers' speed to their advantage and not putting them too much in jump ball situations. I am looking forward to seeing Sean Murphy-Bunting making a comeback in this game since he played so poorly 2 weeks ago against Atlanta. It happens, bad games. I know he was kind of upset. He put on his social media to kind of like pretty much tune out the naysayers and things like that. And you're going to have that in this league week to week. So, Sean, you can't really, get down and listen to things like that because you're playing against NFL players. It's just you don't want to get beat more. You don't want to get beat more than you're not. And, so people tend to forget. People have a short memory, Sean, so they only remember what happened the last week and not prior to that. With that being said, yeah, they're going to have – you saw my to-do list. They have to at least get a turnover, a rush for 100 yards, which should be interesting with the whole running back situation. Personally, to me, I would like to keep riding the momentum of Keyshawn Vaughn. I got my perspective on that. You guys can check that out. We'll check that out a little later. I'm just waiting to get Ron in here when Ron signs in. I know he's a busy guy and takes tons of phone calls, so we'll get in here and we'll get Deshaun on later if he's free. And it'll be status quo. As usual, we'll talk also about has Brady met expectations and things like that, and hear what Colin Howard on the Hurd says, and speak for yourself and show. So this will be interesting. Eric, we don't know, but just type your comments in the comment section. They're going to put a hat on the right hand. Don't forget Shady. Absolutely, that's what I'm saying, Deshaun. They know that he has the injury to his hand. So you can't carry the ball to the left-hand side unless he feels confident in securing it with that hand. And even run it to the right. Is he going to try to stiff arm people? Is he just going to lower the shoulder and cover the ball? It's going to be interesting. I know he says he misses Ronald Jones' explosiveness, but how explosive is he if he's got if the hand is an issue? I know especially with securing the ball. It's just like Chris Godwin. Your main job is catching the ball and you have a hand injury. Now your job is running the ball and you need your hands to carry the rock. I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. But I was just telling you guys earlier, if he's running the ball to the left and he's got the ball in his right hand, I'm going to punch that ball out. And this last thing Tampa Bay needs is some ill-advised turnovers in a game trying to secure the 5th pick and play a heavily weakened NFC East division, which Washington leads in that. If they win, they're in. Everything else is scenario-based. So if Washington wins, they're in the playoffs, and they will play Tampa Bay first wild card game, 4 versus 5. No, I ain't gonna go in there because it's pretty long if I play that. Madden 21 predictions. We congratulated Becky Hammon. The playoff seeding. So yeah, pretty much if the Bucs win, they get the 5th seed. Guys in control will help them. Hey, at the end of the day, Mark, you're right. But God helps those that helps themselves as well. He does do that, but a lot of it you got to do on your own. Yes, when backs have hands issues, there is a drop off because you're not thinking about running anymore. Now you're thinking about catering to that hand and not hurting yourself and things like that. So those play a intricate part into that carrying the ball. Tom Brady is going to do his thing and throw the ball. I'm sure they're going to get Mike Evans his yards early and kind of get that out the way and then play the game pretty much after. I would expect some quick hitch routes, let Mike run, pick up 4 or 5 yards or whatever he can get, et cetera. Like they said, what did Madden do for this week, Deshaun? As you say, we can go into that before we go into anything else. Let's see what Madden has for us this week. So check it out, my Madden prediction, and we'll get to the rest of the stuff. So let's check out Madden prediction.
Today, from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, this is the National Football League. We'll see Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons.
Out of the gun, it's Ryan. Oh, it's intercepted. He was trying to get it to Ridley. Picked off near the 29. And they're into the end zone, but it's not verified yet. Hold on, there is a flag down. Again, Ryan. And this is caught for a Falcon touchdown. It's Calvin Ridley on the receiving end from Matt Ryan as his guys are first onto the scoreboard here this afternoon. Well, we had the scoreless first quarter. Here's Fournette. And he's in. Touchdown, Buccaneers. Taking it in from 2 yards out. And the Buccaneers are an extra point away from tying up this football game. To come up with something here on third down. From the gun, Brady. Going to air it out deep for Gronkowski. And he hauls it in for a Buccaneer touchdown. Rob Gronkowski in the final seconds of the first half. And the Bucs have taken the lead.
That's one of the better examples of clock management I've seen. Whittled it all the way down just about and still put the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, just a methodical drive and something really to take into the lockers here. Ryan. Now that'll be tipped and intercepted. Picked off at the 40. And they have possession, and they have it at the 38-yard line. But that one is going to sting. First play of the third quarter and a turnover.
And you have to know that at halftime, they spent a lot of time going through their checklist of what they wanted to accomplish to start this third quarter. A few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
And he's got it. Caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Cameron Brate there to make the grab. And the Bucs are going to add on to their lead. Always important to get the first score of the second half. Now you start to pull away a little bit and get some breathing room going.
And now we find out about the fortitude of the group that's behind, because they were counting on getting into the game a little bit more, right? Maybe they get the first score. That doesn't happen.
Now, from the gun, Ryan. And this is caught for a touchdown. So hang on now. Things just got a little bit more interesting here in the final minute.
I'm not sure win-win is the proper term here, but it certainly felt like it. They got the touchdown they needed. But if I'm on the defensive side of the ball, okay, you got the touchdown, but it sure took you a long time.
Yeah, because offensively there, you're probably hoping for a 1 to 5 play drive. That one ate up a little more time than they were hoping.
You're exactly right. And if you have that 1 to 5 play drive, you actually build up momentum and even more hope. When they had to slog their way downfield, they got the touchdown.
So time has run out on what will be a Tampa Bay victory. And it wasn't really always pretty. They had their bumps and bruises. Really, both sides did. But they did what they needed to do at home to get the win.
Yeah, they really had to grind this one out, didn't they? Because nothing came easy. Every snap was a major league brawl. They had to win at the line of scrimmage, win downfield. They got all those things accomplished. But to win a close one like this, you know, every team wants to be physical. We've heard that a million.
There you have it. If you just tuned in, it's the Sports Talk 49 live on BucsReport.com every Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. This is Madden 21 prediction. But got Bucs winning 21-14 at home against Atlanta, Week 17. If they win that, they secure the fifth seed in the playoffs, and they will be facing off against the NFC East. Be interesting. Probably to see if it's Washington. Is it the Giants? Is it going to be the well, it can't be the Eagles or the Cowboys. There's all types of different scenarios that could happen. So we'll see what happens. But they got the Bucs winning against Atlanta 21-14. I know Deshaun loves seeing that since he lives out in Georgia. That's definitely something, you know, that'd be nice to finish the season with 11-5. Exactly what people said it would happen. I mean, has Brady technically lived up to your expectations? I mean, as a team lived up to the expectations, let alone Brady. You know, he's just one person, one cog in the machine, but everybody else has to produce as well. And I think a lot of people learned that when Brady was performing and a lot of people weren't, when there's miscommunications and things like that, the machine didn't run at, 100%. There was a lot of issues going on. So, I mean, it is what it is. Those type of things happen. But you heard Bruce Arians earlier talk about verbiage and things like, yeah, Sean, they showed love. Verbiage. What's going on, Harry? Verbiage at the beginning of the year. He said they're learning, barely still learning verbiage and things like that. And still learning. We got my brother from another mother about to jump in here in a second. Mr. Ron Butler, CEO, Agency One Sports Group. We'll get him on here in 1 second. Ron, you ready to rock and roll? All right, here we go. Let's bring him on. Mr. Ron Butler, CEO, Agency One Sports Group. What is going on? Oh, can't hear you, Ron. Audio. It's all good. Don't you love technology these days, Ron? Don't you love it? I think after 2020, I think everybody is going to be fully functional in FaceTime and meetings, FaceTime. If you wasn't, you are in 2020 for sure, going into 2021. It's so weird. You're good, Ron. Keep doing what you're doing. I'll keep talking. I was leaving the comments. Donald Clark, first time listener. Let's go. Yep, we got Ron Butler here on Agency One Sports Group. He's figuring out the audio. He's on here live. I love his jerseys in the back. And he's like Levante David's agent. He's represents plenty of other players right at Agency One Sports Group. You guys can check them out at agency1sportsgroup.com, or you can follow Ron or Agency One Sports Group on Twitter. Ron will usually reply to you or somebody from the agency if you have some questions or things like that, if you know anybody who's looking for agent representation and things like that. So, you good yet, Ron? Oh, yeah, you good. Keep going. Like I told you, I'll keep rambling. Ron's going to jump out and jump back in, so stand by. He's there. We're going to talk about A little about Levante David. We're not going to talk about contract things. We can't talk about that. And Levante David be extended, but Ron did confirm last time that they are working out one. There we go. I heard the beep. Let me get him in here.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah, perfect.
Listen, don't you love technology?
Yep. What's up, Ron? I'm glad to see you all right, man.
Hey, man. I'm alive and breathing, man. It's been a rough 11 days, man.
Man, who you telling? As soon as you told me that, I was bothering you every day. You all right?
Man. Listen, for those of you who don't know, I tested positive for COVID-19 about I want to say it's been about 13 days now, so I'm kind of at the tail end of it. Feeling a lot better. It's definitely real. I know some people out there thinking that COVID's not real, but I mean, I definitely felt the effects of it. Me and one of my other partners actually caught it at the same time. It was probably on a road trip. But I'm feeling a lot better, man. I've been watching a lot of football. I'm actually watching this Georgia and Cincinnati game now. So, I'm glad football's still going, man. That's what's kept me motivated to get back and get into this thing, man.
Yeah, definitely that. It keeps everybody's minds off of all the other stuff. Plus, whatever. I mean, that's what a lot of people, who aren't really sports based, they get upset. Oh, you guys get all caught into. It's not just that. It's just it gets your mind off of all the other stuff you got going. Everybody has their go-tos in those situations to get it off, and it's your profession. You represent players and all that, so you look at it a little different as well. So I mean, it helps out everybody, especially with that. So I'm glad you're back healthy again from testing positive COVID-19. I just had a buddy who as well. He just recently was on ICU. He would not have made it if he did not go in hours before going in with that. And now he has to. It made him. He's a diabetic now after coming out from COVID. But he's at home. He's well and everything. So when you said that, I was immediately checking on you every day because I saw how serious it was.
Absolutely. No, and I definitely appreciate you checking on me, man.
Yeah. So Ron, why don't you tell everybody what you got going on and everything about Agency One Sports Group?
I was about to say, let's talk some football, man.
Yeah.
We'll dive into it. Agency One Athlete Management Group. We're based out of South Florida. We represent a number of NFL players. Your very own Levante David is one of my clients, biggest clients. I've had him since he was a Nebraska, actually after Nebraska, his Nebraska days. So he's been riding with me for a long time. My team is, consists of about 11 different people. Out of the 11, I want to say we have 7 agents that are on board with my organization. It's a team effort, man. Everything we do, a lot of people preach family, but that's really what we are. We break bread together. We go out and do business together, and we enjoy it, man. And it's an opportunity for agents that, say, for example, don't have a lot of relationships around the agency world. My company provides, younger agents with an opportunity to jump into this thing and have a book of business to use to go and recruit. And it just gives you a home. And so I've kind of opened my doors. This is something I decided to do this past year with a group of other gentlemen who are agents as well. And so far, so good, man. Our class is looking really strong for the 2021 class. And, we're excited about the future, man. So I definitely, anytime you bring me on the show, I definitely appreciate it, man.
No, definitely that. And I told you I'll do my best to help you out and to try to get you recruit players, use some of my old coaches and things like that. So I want to see you grow and build because I like what you guys got going on there. You bring a good message. And I think a lot of guys that aren't familiar with the process, which most of them aren't, unless you got, a dad or a relative that was in there, can kind of school you a little bit coming into that, because it's a life-changing thing. And the most important thing that I like about what your agency represents is that you care about on and off the field. What is your career like after football? And that's something a lot of people don't talk about. Definitely.
I think with the there's a misrepresentation of what our agents' roles are. I think that you have your agents that just want to do the contracts. They don't want to really get involved in helping guys post career and also helping guys transition to the league. our biggest thing is how can we make a difference besides just doing contracts and just doing marketing? How can we make a difference with these guys' lives? And there's a lot of opportunities that are there. It's just really about who's willing to take that extra step in terms of tapping into it to really figure out how to help somebody out, once they had an NFL career. So, we represent coaches as well, represent about 35 NCAA coaches right now. And it gives you another avenue that a lot of players like to go into, which is, hey, I want to coach after I'm done playing. This gives us an avenue to help them transition. Hey, we got the relationships with the coaches, right in our own backyard. So it's definitely an opportunity for guys that look to do something like that. It's definitely a stepping stone to help those guys out. So, we do it all, man. We're a full service agency.
Yep, and A1 first class agency, you guys. So if you guys got relatives or anybody, message me, message Ron. I'll put you right to Ron, and Ron will reach out to you. He's a friendly guy. He won't bite. So let's get straight into the nitty gritty.
Let's talk some football, baby.
Yeah.
Let's talk some football.
How in the hell does not Levante David not make the Pro Bowl again?
Listen, are you surprised?
No, and then Devin White didn't make it. I tell people all the time, I said, you'll never have these kind of numbers. The sack numbers you got from an inside line, he'll never do that again. That's once in a career. And you can't make the Pro Bowl on that? You're never going to make it on. I don't know.
It's a popularity contest, man.
Oh, yes. Thank you. You heard it from Ron. It's a popularity contest. You heard it from him.
Yeah, man. I mean, year in, year out, I see guys, not just Levante, not just Devin. I see guys that deserve to be in the Pro Bowl. I see guys that lead the league in interceptions, and their teams are, maybe mediocre teams. But from an individual standpoint, they have the accolades to really back up or support why they should be in the Pro Bowl. But then you have guys that have names that maybe they didn't put up great stats this year, but they have names, and it's a popular name. And year in, year out, you see guys continue to get put into the Pro Bowl, even if they don't deserve to be there. They get there. So with Levante, I'm kind of at a loss for words with it. I talk about it every year. Levante is a hell of a player. He's had a hell of a career so far. He has, some years left in the tank, and the best thing for him to do right now, his thought process is, okay, no Pro Bowl. Let's win a championship. Let's win a championship. So when I hear him talk like that, I know it's not just about his individual accolades. It's about, I've been in this organization for 9 years, and we're finally going to the playoffs. Absolutely. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. And so far, he's been playing good football. I say good football, but I think once the playoffs come around, you're going to see a different guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's coming from the horse's mouth.
Oh, I definitely believe that, because his energy after that game, you posted that clip. I posted several from him. I said, he's lit. He's ready to rock and roll. He's in the tub, getting the muscles right. He's doing everything. But I already expect that from him, so it doesn't shock me, and I'm sure it doesn't shock you. It's just you get that chance to turn it up another notch that you ain't been able to turn up in so many seasons. But there was one other thing I wanted to ask you though. I talked about this on my show. Well, I'll make a statement, then I'll ask you.
Okay.
I said with the Pro Bowl is a popularity contest. A lot of people tried to say it's voted among fans and voted among coaches and players. So my argument was, it's like, I'm not in everybody's ear and in conversation, but I know for a fact, if I'm thinking as a player, I'm not voting a guy in the Pro Bowl as a player or a coach that didn't play down the season or miss half of the season when there's guys that played all year. Now, with that being said, I said, okay, if they don't want to make the Pro Bowl, I'm looking forward to seeing the top 100, which I know are voted by coaches and players. Right. So what I bring this up on purpose, and you're the agent, and people are like, well, you have to run to the, it's about the team game now. Yes, it is. But at the end of the day, when Levante's done or if he gets injured or whatever it is, all he has left is his accolades, his body of work. And that's important. Me and you talked about this last time, how Pro Bowls and those accolades amount to contract extensions. They amount to the amount of funds you make later on in the league. So when people say it doesn't matter to them, yes, it does, and it doesn't, because they do want to get paid. They still got to live. There is a life after football, and guys like Levante, I'm sure he's been spending his money well and wisely. So to you, that's important, right? Like getting these personal accolades to help yourself in contract negotiations, correct?
No, it definitely. I think you definitely hit it on the head. We did discuss that on our last conversation, but I think that the one thing that I've noticed this year, just from watching the game, just from having the all of the different protocols with the COVID situation and guys opting out, the one thing that I have learned in this business, and yes, I'm still learning, even though I'm an agent, I'm still learning, is that you can allow your play to do the talking in terms of contract negotiations. And if you're one of those players that a team knows, hey, you know what? This guy has the ability to change our defense or make our defense elite. He deserves to be paid X, Y, and Z because he has the ability to make our defense elite. Okay. And Levante and I, I'm not going to give you too many sound bites here, but Levante and I, as we go through negotiations with Tampa Bay, we both sat down and we said, hey, you know what? Here's an opportunity for you to really go out and earn your money by letting your play do the talking. Okay. My job as an agent is to come in and get you the best contract as possible. But I know, Levante's 30, he's going to be 31. He puts everything that he has, every amount of sweat, blood, tears, he puts everything into it. And the team recognizes that. It shows by how well they play defensively, him being a leader. And, I think he's at a point in his career going into year 10 where, players are, around the league know who Levante David is. GMs around the league know who Levante David is. Having those Pro Bowls and those All Pros behind your name, what does that do for you? Well, when it's time for you to hang it up in terms of your career, and we start talking about Hall of Fame and this, that, and the other, the voters look at that. And they're going to say, okay, well, this guy only had one Pro Bowl or one All Pro. But if you look at him statistically, he's put up, better numbers than, a lot of these linebackers that are already in the Hall of Fame. So does it make a difference when it comes to that? So we definitely think about those things. And, I know the guys that vote for the Pro Bowl, the fans, the other players, they're not really looking at that. They're looking at who they feel like, hey, this guy's on my team. I'm rooting for him. I'm going to vote for him 2,000 times. Right. That's just how they look at it. But I think for what Levante's done over his career and what he'll continue to do for the remainder of his career, he'll allow his play to do the talking. And when it's time for us to get a deal done, we'll get a deal done. Absolutely. And I've made it clear. I had some people ask some questions and not ask about the contract negotiations. Yeah, and also like when you talk about that, like, yeah, you're right. At the end of the day, I mean, that's where he's going to get snubbed at. Now it's going to irritate the hell out of me if he really gets snubbed at the end of his career, and this comes all up, and we're right here recorded talking about this before this even comes to fruition years later. If he doesn't reach some type of Pro Bowl or whatever, all pro status after this, it's going to irritate me. Somebody did have a question for you though. Okay, it's actually a pretty good one. Hold on one second, Ron. Pull it right up. Ask Ron if there is any way to push Levante's image more. Even Bucs fans who love him forget about him. That irritates me some. I definitely think it's ways to push his image. I think the team, the organization has done a decent job of, putting Levante up on the stadium or putting them on cups or putting them on flyers or having them in commercials. The biggest problem that we've had over the first 8 years is that the Tampa Bay market's not a great market. Nope. Okay. I've noticed a lot more marketing opportunities have been presented this year because the arrival of 12, and with 12 being here, it's opened up some different, lucrative situations where guys can go in and do signings and, commercials and posts and different things like that. But I think over the first few years, we struggled immensely. We struggled, to really push his image in terms of the Tampa Bay market. It's just not a great market. And obviously, if they win this year, they make a run. It may change some things, but at the end of the day, I believe that it's about selling tickets. And so those offensive guys are probably going to get a little bit more of a push than, say, a defensive guy would. But, that's definitely something that we will continue to work on, which is his image and getting him out there more and getting him more involved in, just commercials and different things where his likeness can be can be seen. He does a lot of great things in the community. But in terms of those commercials and national commercials, they make a difference in terms of your image.
It definitely does, because it's a national exposure versus, just a local. And you said it best. The Tampa Bay market isn't exactly, top tier like where you are in Miami,
right?
Down in the 305 where you got a bigger market, a bigger city, and things like that. Tampa's trying to find their way,
right?
I think the Toronto Raptors, well, the Tampa Bay Raptors, you want to call them now, should help a little bit too, but a little bit of different exposure. Don't know how you feel about that. I think that's interesting. I am going to definitely get out there and check that out. Come here in January. If you come up, just let me know. We'll meet up. Same thing if I go to Miami, I'll hit you up. But yeah, you're definitely right as far as markets. You hit that nail on the head, and you would know that better than anybody being an agent, things like that.
Yeah.
And with the Bucs playing Week 17 against Atlanta Falcons, you do represent, players on the Atlanta Falcons. You have a guy. How do you pronounce correctly? What's the correct pronunciation of his name? Kazi?
It's Kazi.
Kazi. Okay, that's even easier. Kazi.
Right. DeMonte Kazi. Yeah, I got him up here on the wall. He made the wall. He led the league in interceptions 2 years ago, so he made the wall. Yeah, he made it.
And I see you got Perryman back there. I love him coming out of Miami.
Yeah. No, those guys. DeMonte actually tore his Achilles this year, so he's not playing. He tore it against Green Bay back in October, so he's rehabbing right now, and he's in the contract year as well. So we're working to get those things done, get those taken care of as well. But we, the Atlanta market is actually a really good market, and it's somewhere where guys like to go. They feel, there's an opportunity there to be marketed because it's a decent market. So, that's it definitely makes a difference in terms of where you are in terms of location.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And I just kind of wanted to, it kind of rolled in perfectly that we were talking about the Bucs and the Falcons, so I couldn't go without mentioning him being on the team. So how does that, with him? You said it's a contract year, which I did. I kind of set that up on purpose. I don't know if you noticed that.
That's fine. I see where you're going.
His contract year, and he has an injury like that. How does the negotiations work with that? Like, educate somebody, a fan, like. Guy coming off a knee injury. You said it was knee injury, correct?
Oh, it was Achilles. Yeah,
Achilles. Okay, foot injury. So, how does that work? Like, to get an extension, like, do you promise them that? Is there stipulations in there? You got to play an X amount of games to make a certain amount of money and things like that. Coming off an injury like that, like, how does that work?
Well, typically, when you're coming off of that type of injury, they don't know how you're going to recover. They don't know if you're going to be the same guy. It's really about the rehab process, how far along you are, and how much a team really wants you back. I think that's the biggest thing. When you look at his production and what he's statistically what he's done over his 3 years, he's had some really strong numbers for a guy that was a 5th round pick who wasn't drafted to play safety. He was drafted to play corner. Correct. And ended up starting, becoming the starting safety and being impactful. So as an agent, it definitely makes our job a lot harder because now, you know, a guy who could potentially make, you know, $10 million plus a year, is he the same player? It's up to the agent and the player to be able to prove to the organizations that he can be that same guy. So you look at the rehab, you get the notes, you get, you know, all the medical reports, you know, you're sharing that information, and not just with, you know, his current team, but with other teams as well, because he will be a free agent also. So you have to be able to go out and show that health-wise, you know, he's on the right track. And
that's good.
I think the second thing is how bad a team wants him back. Like, you know, if they want him a part of that organization, are they willing to pay him what he's looking for, or do you have to take a little bit of a smaller deal until you can prove to that organization that, hey, I'm 100%. So I can't go ahead and put out how I'm going to.
No, you're good. You're good.
But I am gearing up for free agency this year, and DeMonte is you know, priority number one, as you know, just like Levante is priority number one in terms of getting the deal done. So all of my guys, you know, guys that are coming up on free agency, you know, it's important to be able to show these different clubs that, you know, whether you're coming off of injury or you're fully healthy, you deserve X for basically what you've already done and potentially what you can do in the future.
Definitely. That was well explained there without giving away too many details. That was well explained. You're a good negotiator there, Ron. That's why you're the best in the business, bud.
Can't give them too much, man.
Just enough, just a taste. You want more. And that's what they do over there at Agency One Sports Group, represent the 305 down in Miami. And Ron Butler, great personality. Like I said, if you guys got questions, Ron, especially if you got guys come up, ask him. He'll answer you. He's a friendly guy. Johnny Dean wanted to put something. He said, Ron, get that contract done. A Tampa Bay Buck team without Levante David would be a sadder team.
What's his name, Johnny?
Johnny Dean, yep.
Hey, Johnny Dean, listen, we, you know, our goal is to be able to retire, you know, in Raymond James, you know, jersey in the Raptors, excuse me. You know, our goal is not to you know, to have to leave, you know, at all. But it's we're gonna work on it. Let's just say that we're gonna work on getting that done.
Hey, there you have it. He looked you in the eyes, Johnny. He told you they're gonna get it done. He said we won't let that out till the cat's out of the bag, but I'm sure none of that's gonna really come until the end of the season. I'm sure this team is focused on these playoffs. That's priority number one. I mean, really, to get this done. I know we're talking about Pro Bowls, accolades, et cetera. I mean, that's, you know, that's cute and all, you know, and the longevity and contracts and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I'm really, and I was glad to see from Gerald too, really happy for his teammates. These guys been here so long.
Hey, first class guy, man. First class guy. He's a first class guy.
It annoys me that he got such bad rap here, like he was a bad personality person, great in the community, great teammate. You've never heard anything negative about him within the organization or among other teams. It's just, I don't know. It's just so weird sometimes with this Tampa Bay area and the way they view fans and things. I mean, view players and things like that sometimes. So,
no, I mean, Gerald has always been, you know, a stand-up guy. He supports his teammates, his former teammates. I think that the way, you know, that whole, you know, situation ended, it kind of played out in the media a little bit. And a lot of times you want to be able to stay out of the media, you know, when it comes down to your relationship with the organization. I think there's that business piece and then there's that personal relationship piece. And sometimes it's a fine line in terms of things you can say that can ultimately affect it, or the things that teams can offer you financially that can affect it. It kind of destroys the relationship. But I commend Gerald on his efforts and everything that he did for this organization. And, you know, we'll see what happens with him this year.
Yeah, I always thought he might come back. He said first and foremost, you know, I'm a Tampa Bay fan, and he's shown that. He's been one of the biggest cheerleaders on social media rooting for the team. But you're definitely right as far as what you can and should say to the media coming around that time. Because I remember distinctively he did a lot of things that he shouldn't have said and done that kind of hurt him. Was going on. I believe I don't think it was First Take at the time. I think it was Undisputed, where he went on there with Shannon and all them and talked about all that. I was like, Gerald, don't do it. Don't do it, Gerald. It's a trap.
Listen, it's a time and a place. I think he was trying to plead, his case, but I think once you take that route and some things start to come out, the team looks at it and say, okay, well, it's time to move on. We'll take care of somebody else. But who knows? They can repair that relationship. He might be back in the Bucs uniform next year. Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know. Definitely, especially the way 2020's in and going into 2021.
Yeah.
Ron, I ain't gonna keep you long. I know you're a busy guy. You probably got like 20 phone calls in the past.
honestly, we for this time for me and my team, it's really about getting our rookies in.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting our rookie class together. A lot of those guys report this weekend, and they start training for the combine next week. So it's really about making sure paperwork is done, and certain you have guys that are training in Florida, you have some guys that are training across the country, and it's really about making sure all of the business is taken care of and is in order. So that's really what I'm focused on at this moment. But at the same time, these games are being played, so I'm locked in on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait till Sunday so these guys can get after it, and it'll be time for the playoffs next week, man. I'm excited, man.
I know you are. I know you're an agent, but I know you're still a fan of the game. You love watching it.
I'm a football guy, man. I'm a football guy. I definitely want to see, what happens here with this playoff run. I got a guy with the New Orleans Saints, and a guy with Carolina, a guy with Falcons. So I got a couple guys in this division, but to have two guys that are in the playoffs, and I'm excited. Yeah,
it's going to be kind of tough for you when the Bucs play the Saints when you got guys on both sides of the field there. Even Atlanta this week, well, it's I should know it's got to be interesting for you. I guess at that point you just root for the players to play well, and so try to be
just play well, stay healthy.
Stay healthy, yes.
That's the key. Well, my guy with the Saints, honestly, he already has a Super Bowl ring. Mm-hmm. So, if he's able to get another one, that's great. But to have Levante in here for the first time, I know all of the work that he's put in. I definitely want to see them make a run and shock the world.
And who was the one on the? I know I got the name. I just can't. It's at the tip of my tongue.
Patrick Robinson.
Patrick Robinson. I knew it. Yeah, Florida State, right?
So he's got one with Philly.
Yep. That's right. So he got a ring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that was an experience for you in the conversation, especially beating Tom Brady.
Yeah, man, it was definitely a great experience. I actually had 3 guys playing in that game when Philly played the Patriots. I had 2 Patriot guys, Philip Dorsett and Mike Gillisley, who was a running back up in New England as well.
You're showing some favoritism to the Miami Hurricanes, man. I see a trend happening there, Ryan, trying to put your business out there. But it looks like you showed.
Hey, listen, I grew up a Canes guy. I did go to UM. I went to FIU, but I grew up a Canes guy. That's we bled orange and green up down here, ever since we were little kids and playing in Pop Warner leagues, and your goal was to always be able to play for the hometown team. So
that is true.
I got a lot of buddies that are former Canes players, and I got some clients that are, former Canes as well. So, you got to love the game, man.
I just have to apologize in advance. I'm sorry what my Tar Heels did to your Canes. I'm sorry what my Tar Heels did to them. I love the Art King. I'm sorry that had to happen to him.
Man. Hey, listen, for some reason, Carolina always shows up against Miami. They show up, and I don't know if it's that's their championship or whatever. I don't know, but I know they put a spanking on those boys.
And they got with Mac Brown coming in. The recruits are flying in at UNC now. They're probably gonna put out a couple first round players. I know I sent you a few that were coming out of there. There's a lot of talent coming out of there now.
Definitely a lot of talent, man.
And Mac Brown reminds me a lot of old Dallas head coach Jimmy Johnson. As far as recruiting, that's the first thing that comes to me when I see Mac Brown. Yeah. They know how to find guys and get them motivated and get them to come to the program, because UNC was not getting all these 5-star players coming out until Mac Brown showed up there. So his recruitment just reminds me of that.
I think it's because when you're dealing with with legends, I think when you have guys on your staff that are good recruiters, but that platform, which is that legend, makes your job a little bit easier. Think about it. Look at Bobby Bowden at FSU.
Mm-hmm.
Even once Bobby was kind of like not coaching anymore,
right?
You had guys on that staff that can probably go into any household and be able to say, why wouldn't you want to come play for the legend, Bobby Bowden? So now when you look at the FSU program and you're trying to sell it, look at what the FSU program is right now.
Bottom.
We don't know where it is. It's non-existent.
And that's not biased because he's a Miami Hurricane.
No,
he's speaking truth.
I have FSU clients.
Yeah.
But in all actuality, when we're talking about recruiting, when you have a legend that's in your building and that's your platform that you're using to sell, guess what? As a coach, if I'm going in to recruit a kid, it's gonna make my job much easier.
I said, this is Bobby Bowden. Do I need to say any more? You got to come in. This is the legend. You off rip, if you were a decent player, you're already going to get drafted in the top 3 rounds just off that alone if you start. So I definitely see your point as far as we talked about today, class. We talked about marketing.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about self-image, and we talked about location. If you guys didn't pay attention, me and Ron spoke business without saying these topics today.
There you go. Let me give you one more example.
All right.
Before I became an agent, I was a coach. I love coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I sat down with Bobby Bowden. And by this time, Bobby was almost on his way out. But Bobby Bowden pulls up in your house. Okay, and there's this. It's almost like this glow that Bobby Bowden has.
So he had an aura.
He had this aura. He had that. Did you remember on the Chappelle show when they were talking about Rick James and this?
Yeah, he had that glow.
He had that glow. So
yeah.
Bobby has that glow.
Like Bruce Leroy.
Like Bruce Leroy from The Last Dragon. Okay. He had that glow. And so I was so blown away by it. He ended up getting 3 of my players for my program.
Really?
3 of them. And it's because I'm telling you, it's because when you have a platform, when you're playing for a legend, okay, and that legend comes into your home, it makes a difference. You're surprised, you're shocked by it. The players are shocked by it. The parents are shocked by it. Like, hey, this is Bobby Bowden, and it makes a difference in terms of recruiting. Now you look at a Nick Saban, legend. Okay, you look at a guy like Mac Brown, legend. Okay, it makes those championship, those team building championships. It's so much easier when you have somebody like that can potentially. Get you to say, hey, this is where I'm going because of that, So I just want to share that story with you.
That was an awesome story, especially anytime you get to see a legend. I mean, those opportunities don't come around. My first thought would have been, what the hell do I cook? Because damn well a good meal can make a conversation go very easily.
100%. 100%.
Let me get you out here. Just want to give you a question, statement Deshaun had. He said, that's how it's going to be at JSU with Deion. Not sure if you have any ties there or not yet. Deion is, and my experiences with Deion, personal experience, he's a little different the way he does things. He's really, he's Deion. That's all I'll say is he's Deion.
I think when you're talking about Prime, talks about himself in the third person, okay? And he's a legend as a college player. He's a legend as an NFL player. He's a Hall of Famer. When you think about if you have Deion Sanders come to your home and you've been a fan of Deion Sanders since you were a small child, mm-hmm. It's going to make his job easier. So I say that to say this. I'm very surprised that a major Division I program didn't give him an opportunity.
That's without question. I thought this would have been done, especially Florida State at the moment.
Listen, sometimes it's about having the right person in-house that can put together the right staff, that the front office gives them an opportunity to go in and get the right recruits to change a program around. It baffles me that he hasn't had that opportunity. Now, JSU is going to be his stepping stone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's going to be there. They're going to win some games. He's going to steal some top recruits.
Yep.
And then that big job is going to come, and he's going to jump into it. Somebody will give him an opportunity. But I'm just surprised that the alma mater hasn't given him the opportunity yet.
Yep, it's shocker, and I know what you're getting at with that, but we won't really touch into that. It's just interesting to all that transpires for a guy like that. And then I know it's a different sport, but it's been brought up by Stephen A, and I always commend Stephen A for calling out stuff as it is.
Mm-hmm.
When you give a guy like Steve Nash, who has no coaching experience, period, a head coaching job in the Brooklyn Nets right out the gate, goes to the point of what you just mentioned. Like I said, I know what you're getting at. We're not going to really go into that right now. We're not going to go into that. But yeah, that's an issue. And Johnny again gives another good one. He said it's catfish and hush puppies for Bowden. So definitely.
Hey Johnny, you all right with me, brother? You all right with me?
All you need is the Frank's hot sauce with that catfish, and I'm good to go.
Man, I hear that. I hear that.
Let me get you out of here, Ron. Anything last words you want to put out? Anything?
Hey, listen, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate you having me on, man. As always, love coming on, talking some football. Definitely want to come back on, once these playoffs get started, so we can probably set something up there. For all of the listeners out there who want to know more about my organization, my company, you can visit us at agency1sportsgroup.com. Also on Instagram and Twitter at Agent Butler 1. And feel free, shoot me a DM. I'm like Blake said, I'm pretty friendly in terms of responding and all of those good things. And biggest goal here is to see my guy Levante back in Tampa Bay. So we're gonna work on that. And I appreciate you having me.
Always, Ron. You always got a spot here. Anytime you want to get on, talk sports, talk the agency, it don't matter. You're always welcome here.
Appreciate you, my man.
Yep, Ron. I'll stay in touch, brother. Stay safe out there.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yep. And bringing in speaking of brothers from another mother, we got none other than Atlanta, Georgia, and himself across the enemy lines, Deshaun Tisdale.
Hey, what's up, guys? Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. We missed that. He's some catfish and hush puppies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep my energy up. Just a little bit sick, under the weather, caught the flu here, so trying staying in and staying healthy right now. But good to go, ready for this weekend's playoffs, guys. So, hey, a couple of those key points that you hit, man. I think Keyshawn Vaughn is going to come in here.
There's no reason after what he did last time. And speaking of it, I even pulled up my perspective for that, but we'll get to that after you drop your point on Keyshawn Vaughn.
Listen, with Keyshawn Vaughn right now, I saw somebody said in the chat that Devin White and Shaq Barrett were in COVID protocol. So kind of searching that. I don't know. Hopefully there's nothing to that.
Because
hopefully that's a catfish.
Yeah, I hope that's a catfish. Yeah, right, catfish. Right, Johnny, that played perfectly. Because if that's happening right now, they're not playing.
Yeah, they're not playing.
And they're still in the playoffs, but I would like to get that fifth seed playing the NFC East because Washington's. I'm gonna say Washington. I don't think Washington's gonna lose this game, especially with Ron Rivera as the head coach. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it early. Playing Washington at that that first wild card spot. Their defensive line scares me, but their offense doesn't scare me too much. They're gonna stop their run. And the Bucs shouldn't get beat too bad in their aerial assault. I don't know what you think about that or not.
I feel the same way. Yes, Chase Young, young bull on the outside. He's definitely something to fear. And the fact that he's lining up against, the chink in our armor, if you will. I'm gonna give him the respect his due. Last couple of weeks he has been holding steady. But for that, a backup came and held steady, so I'm not just, it's Chase Young. This kid's been on a tear. and he looks like a man child. He is as advertised. Like so. But if it's Washington, that defense they're just not a very handsy defense. I watched the game with them. I watched them drop like 4, maybe 6 interceptions, just tip balls, kind of getting right there, but they're just not there yet. So I'm more than happy to play against a Washington team that's definitely weaker from a scoring perspective. When we put up 28 points, Washington is just not a team that can do that on our defense. And then now with the way the team's playing, I feel like we can ball control a little bit more. I think we're getting into that mode of, I want to say playoffs for this team. We're a scary team in the playoffs for any other team to face. Mm-hmm. We have the ability to put up big points, and we have the ability to from a basketball references, point guards change the pace. They can up the tempo if they want, or they can slow it down if they want. And I think we have the ability to score high or slow it down and just dink and dunk you a little bit all over. And that's going to be big this week. Definitely.
And the last injury report just came out. Denard is out again. Julio Jones is out. That hamstring is not going to go away. I already anticipate him not playing. Brandon Powell foot did not. He's out. Charles Harris, non-injury related, did not participate, and everything else. Oh, Jake Matthews, left tackle, did not participate. Not sure if that's a death in the family or something like that. It happened. And shout outs to Cook, running back out of Minnesota. His father died. I'm sorry. He's going to miss week 17. Hate to see that for anybody. Mm-hmm. He's a young man, so I can't imagine his father being too old. I'm just, crazy if something crazy happened like that to him. Dalvin Cook, I'm talking about. But,
condolences for him.
Yeah. Where are we at? Oh no, Johnny, not catfishing.
But no, the injuries and but hey, there was also supposed to be Blake. Wasn't Mac the center? Wasn't he in concussion protocol for Falcons?
That didn't pop up on here, and it literally just came out on Buccaneers.com's website, and I didn't see Mac, so he must have cleared it. But yes, you're right. He had concussion protocol. I think guard Carpenter had an injury as well. So it looks like they might be back or might be a game. Speaking of game time decisions, they said Arian said Carlton Davis is a game time decision. I don't expect him to play. He should just wait until the playoffs if it's that they did fine last week without him.
Well, I think they're going to bring. I'm thinking with this secondary, he wants them to get a chance to gel. So there's that fine line of what he said. He kind of showed his hand a little bit. I feel like he's saying he wants this team to come out, be who they are for at least a quarter or a half, and as long as he sees that there's a win there and we're still clicking on all cylinders with essentially our starters in, then he wants to at that point go ahead and pull the team and kind of just work with backups from there.
And that's sorry to cut you off, but that is official per Bleacher Report. The Bucs linebackers put on a COVID list. Tampa Bay's Devin White and Shaq Barrett have been placed on reserve COVID-19 list. Now, it doesn't say, let me click on it just to verify, but what I'm about to say is it doesn't specify that if they tested positive, it says they're on the list. So they might have came into contact with somebody and they're precautionary going onto that list just in case. Yeah, that's all it says right now. I'm clicking onto the link, but that's possible that's what would have happened. What do you think?
I mean, listen, now what's the effect of that? If they're on that list right now, they won't play in this game.
They're not ruled out.
But they're not ruled out as of yet. So, yeah. I mean, now let's do this. Let's just play both sides of that.
Excuse me, let me correct that. It says this top statement by Scott Smith: the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will play their regular season finale on Sunday without top of their 2 defensive playmakers. There you have it.
So, who do we see up next, Blake?
Kevin Minter.
Kevin Minter's always come in and done well. Yep. He's a savvy veteran. He's lost a step, but he does. His pass coverage has always been, fairly decent. I feel like his pass coverage is always pretty decent. He's seen everything. He's not, the body's aging, but the mind's doing well for him. But on the outside, we've been in a rotation already, but we've just been flexing that rotation a little bit more towards JPP. And now it'll be Shaq Barrett. Will we see Cam this week? Do you think?
No, I'm not sure. Maybe not. I mean, I told you Kevin Minter, and then it'll probably be Anthony Nelson on the outside replacing him. They
Well,
might
he
get
get
in
the
there.
start, but see Anthony Nelson's been rotating in our nickel package as an interior lineman as well because Golston's been chunking down. We've been trying to get a little faster in the interior because that is right now where our defense tends to me shows that it's weak, which is why we manifested some pressure with Devin White. So now that changes, and we'll probably see Levante David, firing inside and Minter covering, or I anticipate Todd Bowles probably coming with a little more of his nickel blitz stuff, which I think Matt Ryan kind of sees that a little bit. Like it's hard to not show it unless we're walking down pressing everything.
Well, yeah, that and the other part, Mentor has been very good at pass rushing as well. He's been really great at blitzing. I know he got a sack. I can't remember. Teddy Bridgewater, he got called for a helmet that only hit, which was kind of bogus in my opinion. But he's been really great in the times that he's came into the game.
He's not Devin White.
No, he's not. That's the only aspect in the game that he's missing is the speed for sideline to sideline. The good part on that is that Atlanta doesn't really run the ball like that. They're passing predominantly. I mean, they're gonna run. I think they only had like 11 carries total last time 2 weeks ago when the Bucs played them. So, I mean, I meant to play well in a week 17 against a team, Atlanta Falcons team. This Atlanta Falcons team.
Yeah, I'm thinking this team is. Listen, this team is. They are who we think they are. The same breakdown that was evident for them, 2 weeks ago is the same one that is for them right now. They're going to come out and try to hit the same passes and actually do what they do. Now, I really think the Buccaneers game plan for this week is to jump out early and get them to just take their hats off and say, hey, the season's over. Yep. And then we put in backups and they put in backups and that's it. Now, obviously, Atlanta players are going to be playing for a little bit more. So, remember, as we're fans, we also got to keep in mind that, hey, people are, they got jobs on the line. Coaches are trying to become coaches over there, so they're going to keep on coaching. Now, there's an extent that I think that your starters and your veterans are going to tap out from the Atlanta side, especially if the game is out of hand.
Yep, and that's why I know you probably saw on my list. I said set the tone early, like you just said, get them out the game and just kind of coast the way out of this and get hopefully people don't get hurt. Johnny Dean put up a good point too. He said with David having more players, I believe there will be more chance of takeaways since Levante David is great at punching the ball out, and he had one last week.
He's phenomenal about punching the ball out, and I think that the thing with Levante being with Minter instead of with Devin White is that Devin White tends to peel off responsibility, relying on the speed, as young players tend to do, where the veterans stay true to their job. They do their job. So I think Minter's going to be more gap sound because he's not going to rely on speed to take peeks outside and gaps that he shouldn't. He's going to, keep his gap stability, which will make the defensive front just a lot more firm, and it'll make the flat area for him that he needs to cover a lot easier to get to.
Nope, I actually agree, and that's what happens with young players. They tend to rely on athletic ability instead of using the mental mind upstairs and making plays like that. But seems to be working out for him henceforth. He's got 8 sacks and what?
Listen, look. Here's one thing I want to see. They were chomping at the bit. The last game, it was a lot of talking. I'm sure Fournette's going to get the start this week. But what I would love to see, are we talking about the safety from Atlanta coming down and getting on Fournette? That is going to be a bet. When this game starts and we start running the ball before we switch out to Keyshawn Vaughn or before we see Rojo is doing, because I'm not sure. I kind of feel like the conversation and the signing of the back and Johnny, what do you think on this as well? I think all of that, Blake, is kind of a telltale that not that Rojo is so much they're not confident in him. It's just that he's injured and they know that he needs a snap count.
Right.
And they cannot allow him to tote, and I mean, they just can't allow him to tote, but we do need the shifty explosiveness against Atlanta. I think Atlanta is a team that is what we were previously, where we were just fast and we really didn't have true bigs up front. Not this current team makeup, but our previous defensive front makeup, we were fast from side to side, but you could run right at us. This team is still a little bit that way, but we're a little more stout inside, so we can stop things. I'm just looking for this game to be exciting, but we're going to need running backs to be a little bit explosive. Keyshawn Vaughn shows he has the ability to do that, and I think Shady will come in, but you do need that bludgeon workhorse back that, like, people take it away from the defense, the fact that you got to hit Fournette a couple of times, and that, listen, you're coming so hard preparing to hit that big body that a Keyshawn Vaughn or Shady can just, jump cut and, wiggle, get off of you because you're at full tilt. You're not breaking down.
Yep, I agree. I'm going to get out of here, Deshaun. You got any final thoughts on today's Sunday's game, especially with the 2 COVID injuries out?
Listen, that defense it's going to be a week 17. This is still the 2020 season, even though it's a new year. So I expect nothing less than some type of results. I know I kind of jinxed Rojo, so let me try to jinx him again. Hopefully he comes out this game, even with the injury, pops 100 yards surprisingly, and kind of gets that 1,000-yard season. We always knew we're already set for the playoffs right now, but we did say, hey, if we get 1,000-yard back, I mean, he's right there at 900. And I know I said it, he might not get it just because it's a Bucs life, but if he, it is still a Bucs life for him coming into this game with an injury. And just like a Buck, I'm sure he's able to do it. So if they give him the carries, if I say he gets 23 plus, he's going to get 100 yards.
There you have. I see you trying to flip the jinx on him. I see what you try to do right there, Deshaun.
There you go.
Glad to have you as always, and I'll see you Monday.
No problem, guys. Go Bucs.
Yep. Sean Tidsdale, everybody. 411 with Deshaun out of Georgia. It's been long. Had a great show. Enjoyed you guys. Looking forward to see this Week 17 matchup without 2 key stars on defense. And we'll end the show as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you, guys. God bless. And as always, fire those cannons.